everybody, and welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Online. So I am here in one of my favourite places in the game, which is, I believe it's called the, what's it called? Armature's Upheaval, near the Brothers of Strife Way Shrine in, what's it called, Stone Hills, is it? Stone Falls, sorry, Stone Falls, here, over on the right hand side of the map. I love it because it has this kind of like, you have the ash falling from Red Mountain, you have the lava which kind of combines with the water which is coming from the waterfall. I think it's just a really, really beautiful area. I really like it a lot. You have these kind of statues which have been kind of, I guess, demolished at some point, and it also has a crafting area here as well. So I thought I'd do a video just to chat a little bit about my setup, because I have now hit level 50, which means I am champion 157. I have 157 champion points. So for those who don't know the way it works in Elder Scrolls, you level up from, you start off at level 1, you level all the way up to level 50. Okay, just regular. Then what happens after level 50 is you start to get these things called champion points. Actually may have some here to assign you, which I haven't yet, but you earn them in like the way you earn levels through XP. See here, they generally are earned a lot faster than you would a level, and then they give you like a small incremental increases to certain attributes, so you can choose what they do. So if you ever see somebody around, they have this symbol and then they have a number, that's their level 50 with that many champion points. The good thing about Elder Scrolls Online, which I really like, is that those champion points work on all your characters. So for example, my guy here, he has 157 champion points because I earned 135 with my previous character, which you can use on this one as well. And in actual fact, you can distribute them when you first start a new character, which gives you a little bit of a boost. Think of it as like a kind of a new game plus kind of bonus, you know, that you have. So that's pretty good to have, and it does encourage you to make multiple characters, and it does make it easier with other characters along the lines as well. So you may notice my outfit's a bit different. That's because I actually crafted something for once, and I'll go through a little bit of the crafting of what I've chosen to do with that. But first of all, let's look at my Wood Elf Warden character. Okay, so most of my points I've plonked into Magicka. It actually bothers me that I put 49 in and not 50. I really need one more because this really bothers me. But why is he got so much Magicka? Well, because he's a Magicka based class. Well, ish. It can also be stamina based as well. We'll go into that in a minute as well. So a lot of spells, basically all classes in Elder Scrolls Online generally will either use Magicka or stamina for their stuff. So depending on what you want to level up, it should really depend on the build you want, really, I guess. I have the warrior boon at the minute. It's not really the one I don't want to want. I think I just probably accidentally clicked it. And we have lycanthropy. Oh god, someone's doing something over here next to us, which means we're a werewolf, and I'll go into that as well. It does mean that we take 25% more damage from poison attacks while in werewolf form, and increased stamina, armor, and sprinting speed while in werewolf form as well. So let's have a look at the skills which I have chosen to use. So I'm using destruction staffs. Once you hit level 15, you can have 2 different hotbars which you can switch between on the fly. So you could have a completely different weapon set up for your second hotbar compared to your first hotbar. I chose to go with 2 destruction staffs, 1 fire, 1 frost. So depending on what I'm attacking, I can use the appropriate thing, because it does make a difference. Like element versus element does make a difference, as you can imagine. The Warden skills, you have Animal Companion, Green Balance, and Winter's Embrace. Animal Companion is an aggressive one. You can get the Feral Guardian, which is a bear which helps you along the way, similar to the Sorcerer, who can summon like imps and twilight matriarchs and things like that to fight alongside them, and they're like permanent things until they die. This can be quite good, and they have some good aggressive things. They also have a very good talent here, which is the Blue Betty. It starts off as just a Betty, I think, and what it does, it restores magicka to you and gives you major sorcery. And because it's morphed, it then, when activates, remove one negative effect. Very, very good if you're going for a stamina magicka based build. You can morph it into stamina, so it will restore stamina if you went for a stamina based build. And most of these skills can be converted to stamina, depending on how you kind of want it. Now I've gone for these two. The Screaming Cliff Racer I quite like. It's a nice long range attack which you can get in, hit it early, does extra damage. And on my second hotbar I have the Growing Swarm, and that's for multiple targets if I want it. So if I'm facing one target I can use this one, if I'm facing multiples I can use this one. And then I have the Betty on number 2. The interesting thing about the Betty is if you summon it, I'll show you. So you summon it there, and it's there, and you see it's hit it, give me magicka. If I switch to my other side, it still stays. So you only ever need to have it on one skill bar, and it will just stay until it runs out or gets killed or whatever. And then you can just summon it again, and carry on like that. So you don't need to have it on 2 skill bars. Next up, we have the Lotus Blossom, which is a heal. So heals are pretty important. Yes, I don't know if every class has heals. I played Templar before and they definitely had heals, and they keep you alive, obviously, as you can imagine. Now, Warden has like a whole skill line based to healing, so if you want to be a healer, it's a very good class for that. I've gone for Lotus Blossom. I haven't unlocked Nature's Grasp yet, so I might try that out once I get to it. I'm very close to getting to it. But Lotus Blossom is really good because basically when you summon it, and for 20 seconds all your light attacks restore health and your heavy attacks restore health. So it allows you to heal, and the amount you attack gives you healing, and it actually works very, very well. It also looks cool when you summon it as well like that. So that's, I found, has been better than these. I've tried all of these out. And I've kind of found this one to be best. Obviously, if you're playing with other people, this won't heal other people. Well, sorry, it will to a nearby ally. If you don't need healing, I think that's the way it works. But generally, I cast it when I need healing. Sorry, I'm being selfish. But on my other crossbar, I have the Budding Seeds, which does like an area, and it grows these plants, and then they heal everybody in that area. It also looks pretty cool. So that can be good if you're playing alongside somebody else as well. So yeah, I've got those on my other one. And then we have Winter's Revenge, which is one I've been using from the beginning, which kind of cast these ice spikes, which look really cool. And what they do as well is they damage and slow a target as well. So if you have targets coming at you and you want to stay away because you've got a ranged attack, if I show this Shulk, it slows him, giving me time to take this guy out. Like that, if you see. There we go, see that Shulk. Oh god, I've ruined the aesthetics of the area now. So yeah, that's... Oh god, where am I going? Where am I going? I need my skill lines. There we go. So I've always liked that. I don't know if it's that good, but I just always liked it, and so I cast it, and it's good for AoE as well. And then we have the Unstable Wall of Fire, which is a destruction staff skill. So you slam it down, you get fire damage, burn your enemies, things like that. I don't know if that's best or if other things on the destruction staff are best. There's other things I can do. Because on my other skill line I've got this Frost Pulsar, because I've got a frost, so they change depending on what type of staff you have. So that actually does like an AoE, and it's pretty strong as well. Does use a fair amount of stamina though. Stamina magicka, sorry. I'm probably going to get those two confused a lot, so bear with me. And I have can see how much this heals. So you can see my heal there. From distance with the staff, really good. Really, really good. So sometimes if I need to heal, I'll just literally stop using magic abilities and just go like this. Works pretty darn well. The only time that doesn't work very well is, my inventory's full as well. The only time that doesn't work very well is when you get swarmed. So when you have like just this mass of enemies coming towards you, there's like, you're gonna get smashed down basically. But against like 1-on-1s or even 2-on-1, it's really strong, I think. And so saying we've got, yeah, that's the Frostgrunge, and then we have Winter's Revenge again. On my ultimate, I have Werewolf, which is very, very, very strong. I know a lot of people aren't fans of the Werewolf because it takes up an ultimate, but as an ultimate, it devastates anything. Like, I have not come across anything that hasn't, like, got wrecked by me. I'm talking about, like, public dungeon bosses as well. Maybe not like the, kind of like these guys here, but that it does very well because it heals so well. It heals really well, and the attacks are very, very strong. And I've got most of it maxed out. The only one I haven't done is this one actually. Heals for a percentage of the TD's damage done. Afflicts with major defile. I'd probably go for the heal. The heal can be important because I'm usually going against very, very strong bosses on there. But you get all these skills when you turn into a werewolf. You get all these skills on your hotbar. You have to level them, so it takes a little while to get into it. But once I think you do have it, it's really good. This heal is really strong, and it also increases my weapon damage. So basically, what I'm attacking as well, which is, I mean, that's just a dream heal, really. As well. So yeah, not bad. Passives are very important. I've gone for light armor, and I've got all the passives on here, which are very good. Passives are sometimes not the most exciting things you can do, but they're probably one of the strongest because you don't have to assign different like slots for them or worry about what you're leveling up down here. Because if you didn't know, the way you level up your classes is by having the skills in your hotbar. So the more skills I have of animal companions in my hotbar, the faster this will level. Which is why some of them are leveled right up, because I used to carry a lot of the Winter's Embrace stuff in there. And why the Green Balance, I generally only have one heal, so it probably goes slower than a lot of other things. But we'll get there. Other things like weapons, stuff like that, it's the same thing, so they'll level up kind of depending on what skills you have, and also just using the weapon as well. Light armor will level up by you wearing light armor, and it levels faster for additional pieces that you have. So you can like level up other things by wearing a mixture, and you'll level them all up if you're unsure. But most of the passives will, like this, increase your magic recovery by 4% for each piece of light armor equipped. So I have a 28% bonus on magic recovery because all of my armor is light. So kind of bear in mind that it does more push you towards using one set and making that choice. And generally the way I look at it is heavy armor is for the big tanks and things like that, and getting your health back and stuff like that. Light armor is for magic recovery. Medium armor is stamina, I find, and sneak and stuff like that. I go for medium on my Kashyyyk, which is probably a terrible idea because again he's more magica based, but I might actually completely respec him. We'll see how it goes. As well with that, I love this area though. This little thing, I think it's really, really pretty. Where the lava meets the water. I mean, this wouldn't happen. It would just form this big like rock wall, and then it would never meet. But hey, it's a world of magic. Don't think too much about it. So yeah, I guess they're my kind of skills which I have, and obviously I put most of things into Magicka now. Like health, I really don't even need this much in health because like I can heal a lot. So if you can heal, you don't need a lot of health. If you're in a class which doesn't heal, you might need more health. To make that makes sense. So yeah, and then from a crafting point of view, obviously you have the 6 potions, blacksmith is your heavy armour and like melee weapons, clothing is your light and medium armour, enchanting is the enchants which you can put on weapons and armour, provisioning is food which gives you bonus stats, and woodworking is staffs, shields and bows. Now, if you are playing with one character and playing on your own, the chances are you won't be able to level up all of those unless you keep respecking and doing things, but because technically you can get enough skill points to put in everything, because for every 3 sky shards you get a skill point, and being that there's 399, that's like what, 130 skill points, which would probably pretty much fill up all these. So you could technically do it, but it would take you a long time to do that. So because I have multiple characters, I generally stick to something for each of my characters. So I have 3 different characters. One of them is doing blacksmithing, one of them is doing clothing and provisioning, one of them is doing one of them is doing clothing and woodworking, and this character is trying to do enchanting, although I'm struggling with it. So the basis being that this armour that I made was actually made by a different character. I have my Kashyyyk character, and then I could put it in my bank and then pick it up with this character and then kind of carry on with it. So that works out quite well. Yeah, so pretty happy with that. Realistically, as I said, unless you really, I mean, you could do it if you really wanted to, but it would be super tough to get all of these to max level and have enough skill points to make all of them worthwhile and stuff like that. You'd need to farm a lot of sky shards along the way. Champion points we'll have a look at here, which is the ones I've got, because I can actually put some more in now. So it's split into 3 categories: the warrior ones, which are then split into 3, thief and mage, and they allow you to give you small bonuses. So if we have a look at the mage, the Atronach seems to be the one I'm going for here, because staff expert's in it. So you can get like extra, so staff expert increases damage done with light and heavy attacks for destruction and restoration staffs by 17.91%. If I put another point in it, that goes up to 18.39%. So let's do that. And then as you go through, you get extra little passive bonuses. So because I've unlocked 10 ranks in here, when you block a heavy attack, your next light attack you use within 7 seconds deal 30 additional points. So that's pretty good. And riposte, when you block attack, you have 50% chance to deal physical damage. So that's really good. Okay, so that increases your damage done to enemies below 25%. And then when you use dodge roll to dodge an attack, you set an enemy off balance. Okay, so I can confirm those and then come out. Look at that achievement as well. Nice. I seem to have a lot in the lady here. Oh yeah, because I've gone for light armour for physical resistance. That's my thing there. Damage over time. So the warrior seems to be about like defense more than anything. Medium armour. And we've got, oh, there's that spell resistance, spell absorption. So yeah, we probably want to, oh, we definitely want to go as much as we can in this. So let's chuck them in there. I had to respec these. You can redistribute them. It costs you 3,000 gold, which is not an insignificant amount of gold, but certainly mine were all over the place because I didn't know what I was going to do. So we want magical recovery. So that's normal resources. Gathering time. Use movement speed, mountain speed. Okay, so that's pretty good. So that's all our stuff done there. So as you can see, when you can distribute those at the beginning of your game on your character, because you've earned them with a different character, they can give you a really big boost. And actually I'm finding the game a lot more difficult now because how can I put this? So enemies scale to you, okay? But for example, if I'm level 1 but I have 150 champion points, I'm much more powerful than a level 1 character which doesn't have any champion points. Therefore I find it a lot easier going against level 1 enemies because they're set up for people who don't have champion points. But once I hit level 50 and I'm going on the champions, I'm going up against enemies which are level 50 and 157 champion points, so I have no bonus there. So I have to rely on I guess the fact that I've leveled up skills and like other bonus synergies, like for example my gear. So, inventory one. So, because I've gone for a Magicka based build, if you don't know, there are, well, I guess we're at one, crafting nodes around, which you can find on your map, which look like this, or like, is there another one here, like this one here? And they allow you to craft armour, which give you bonus attributes. Let's have a look at this one, Death's Wind. So, if you craft this, if you are wearing 2 items, it gives you physical resistance bonus, then max health, then max health. If you wear all 5 items within a set, when you take melee damage when you're under 35%, you knock back and stun enemies within 8 meters of you for 4 seconds. This can occur once every 30 seconds. It can be quite good. Now you notice these are highlighted. That's because I'm actually wearing some pieces of it. Mainly my armour is from the set called the Seducer, which gives me Magicka recovery, Maximum Magicka, and reduces the cost of Magicka abilities by 8%. So all these little Magicka stuff are adding up to make me pretty strong along the line. Now these are unfortunately CP, so champion point level 40, and I'm nearly 60, so they're almost out of date already, and I only made them yesterday. So that's the problem with crafting, is you have to keep crafting all on the way. And also my staffs are Death's Wind, and oh yeah, my boots are Death's Wind. So you actually wear 7 pieces of armour. You have 2 weapons. Sometimes you can have 2 weapons on one hand if you have a shield and a sword, or 2 swords, or whatever. You can have a necklace and 2 rings, so you could potentially wear 2 sets at once, because that would be what, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 actually, so you can have 2 sets and then an extra 2 if you really wanted to, but because I use destruction stuff, I only have 1 there, and you can't make rings, so as far as I'm aware anyway, you can't. I don't think you can. I might be wrong there. I don't think you can. Can you? I've never done it anyway. I never even tried to do it. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't. I've really confused myself now. Yeah, it would be hitting you, making you can't, so I'm confident you can't do that anyway. But yeah, so that's the way that works. So as I said, I've got characters split around which do things. So all of my stuff was crafted by my other character, which did light armour and woodworking for the staffs, light armour for the clothing, and then transferred it across. It takes a little bit of time, but it's probably worth doing it in the end, because levelling up your crafting skills are a pain in the backside, with specific ones anyway. Enchanting I'm finding a real pain in the backside to do. But there you go, and this armour set is called the Frost Caller armour set as well. I don't know if you can get it anymore. It was like a special thing over Christmas they did, where you could learn it by completing some quests, which I did. I like it personally. I'm not too keen on the Stour Room like things. It would look better without them, but I think it's okay. You can mix and match armour styles depending on how you want to do it. I actually have a hood, not the hat, but I don't really like the way the hat looks. If I'll show you. There we go. So sorry, the hood. Yeah, I like the effect on it with the kind of like detail on the material, but yeah, I'm not sure the hood suits my character as much as the hat, because he's a wood elf, I think, and hats are just cool, basically. And I like the staff as well. I think the staff's pretty cool, so I crafted 2 of those in that style as well, which kind of suits it, I guess. So yeah, that's my kind of, I guess, look at the way my character is and stuff like that. So it's all based around like Magicka recovery. I need to get a new boon though, definitely, and do that. And if you do want to know how I've been leveling up fairly quickly off camera, because I have, my tip, and I know it's not probably the most optimum way to do it, but I find it quite fun because I like exploring, is pick an area, and then within that area go round and uncover everything you can, and do all the delves, which are these things, but don't do any of the quests, because the quests will keep you in one area. You get a lot of XP for discovering things like way shrines and areas to public dungeons if you can, public dungeons are difficult to do on your own. But if you're with one other person, or you can find a group within there you can travel around with, then they're fairly easy. And delves you can certainly do on your own as well. And I found that leveled me up pretty darn quickly on a whole. And also, I highly recommend picking up along the way every single item of like crafting thing you can, even if you have no intention of going down that line, because you can sell them, or you might change your mind at some point, decide to actually go down that crafting line. So I highly recommend that as well. And it's also recommended that if you are thinking about crafting, to use the get the ESO Plus, because you get unlimited crafting power, which holds unlimited items. It's really, like, to be honest with you, it's exceptionally difficult to craft, to get enough items to craft things if you don't have the ESO bag. Yeah, you can buy extra space, inventory space, but it's pretty expensive. And to be honest, I have 113. I'm already full on it. So you would just find yourself constantly going backwards and forwards to crafting points and breaking things down and doing stuff like that. If you don't, to make more space to get materials, because to be fair, my bag is a lot lower than it used to be. But you can see like some of the numbers I have on things. Just I'm never going to use some of this stuff, but it's kind of good to have it there. But like each of these would take a place in my inventory, so as you can see, my inventory would just be unmanageable at this point. So yeah, I think night approaches. If you have any questions about the build, I'm not by any means a pro player, so there may well be things I'm doing wrong. If you know better ways to do things, please let me know. I'm all for it. And there are some very good articles on the internet as well, which will tell you a lot of stuff, so I do recommend that you kind of look those up if you are seriously thinking about that kind of min-maxi level. I kind of do things which I feel are right, if that makes sense. So I'm like, oh, this feels like this would benefit me, rather than actually going, right, I need to do this, plan everything out. I'm not really one of those guys. But someone did request that I have a look at this, my build, and it also saves me from interrupting a whole episode of Morrowind to explain as we go through. I was planning on maybe switching through some different weapons, but I actually really like the destruction staff, so I'm just going to use that on this character, I think. Having two of them, although it might be better to do them in two different styles in future, so I can tell which one's frost and which one's flame. Or if I decide to get a shock or something like that, then yeah, it's worth thinking about. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed a little look at my Elder Scrolls character and how he is. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them as much as I can. But till then, guys, thank you for watching, and I shall catch you next time.